If you was to condemn Israel for doing that, then you wouldn't be a terrorist. If you don't condemn them, then you're a terrorist sympathizer.
What?
That's the whole point.
So okay, cool. I understand the point. Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
That's why I had to.
Insofar,
that's why I had to get an answer.
Yeah.
From you
Insofar,
to dictate whether you
hold
are
on.
or not.
Insofar, okay, yeah. If by condemn you mean what they're doing is wrong, yes, what they're doing is wrong.
What Israel are doing to the Palestinians, you condemn them. The IDF for killing the innocents.
Pardon?
You condemn IDF for killing the innocents.
For targeting them, yes. If they become as cause of collateral, then no. But if they're targeting them, then yes. Again, I haven't researched into the topic.
So you don't condemn them?
I'm not saying I don't condemn them. I'm saying
what you've seen,
on the
and
criteria.
I'm sure you've seen enough.
I haven't seen anything
you
pertaining.
Haven't seen nothing.
I don't go on Twitter. My Twitter feed is usually the NBA, FIFA, as well as like other football sites. I don't do the Israel-Palestine conflict because I do not believe. Because I do not believe.
It's so hard for me to believe that you don't see the innocents that are getting killed in Palestine.
I believe that there are innocents being killed in Palestine, the same way that there were innocents that were being bombed in Dresden.
You know that there's 14,000 innocents that have been killed. You know this.
Okay, so you just told me that.
So do you condemn?
Using that figure, because I will just refer to the answer that I said before. Using that figure, if all of those people specifically are being targeted via density population, then what they're doing is bad. Ultimately, what they're doing is lamentable. But it ultimately depends on whether you believe that the IDF are right in trying to get Hamas, but by trying to get Hamas, they are killing people in the most densely populated area in the world.
It's war crimes.
Are they targeting them?
They're doing war crimes.
Are they targeting? Okay. So they're targeting them.
At the rate that they go, for them to kill the 30,000 to 50,000
3 million Palestinians
of Hamas soldiers, they will eliminate the whole of Gaza.
Okay,
eliminate the whole of Gaza?
Okay, they can do that right. Hold on. You can do that right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so can Israel carpet bomb the strip right now?
I don't know if they can.
They have complete air superiority. Of course they can.
I don't know if they can.
You don't know? Okay. So the IDF have one of the most advanced military air forces in the world.
I understand what you're saying. So because they're not doing it, you don't condemn them.
I'm not saying because they're not doing it, we don't condemn them. I'm saying...
Ask me, do I condemn Hamas? Ask me.
Do you condemn him for calling me a terrorist?
Ask me if I condemn Hamas.
Do you condemn him for calling me a terrorist?
Not yet.
Not
No.
yet? Okay, so you don't want to condemn him for calling me a terrorist. I have never advocated and I've never killed anyone and targeted them religiously. That's it.
You're asking me to condemn him for calling you a terrorist.
Yes.
You can't even condemn IDF.
What?
You can't even condemn Israel for killing innocents. You can't even
condemn them for killing innocents.
Is that his?
I'm asking him. I'm not asking you. Do you condemn Israel for killing?
I condemn.
Wait.
Yeah.
Listen.
I lament and condemn them for killing innocent people.
I will show you what a Muslim is.
I just told you. I just told you. What did I say? What did I say? What did I say?
You don't.
No, I said I condemn and lament them for killing civilians.
What does lament mean?
Lament means I believe it's a terrible thing that's going on. And by condemn, I just mean that what they did is wrong.
Killing Palestinians?
Yes.
Okay, then no problem.
And I condemn Hamas for killing the innocent Israelis.
Now ask me if I condemn Hamas. Ask me.
Do you condemn Hamas for October 7th?
Yes, easy.
Okay, great. There you go. Now, do you condemn? Do you condemn him for calling me a terrorist?
You took too long.
Do you condemn him for calling me a terrorist? Hold on. Now that I've answered your question,
I'll be honest with you.
Am I a terrorist?
Do you want me to be honest with you?
Yes.
Why?
Because he's called me a terrorist.
Wait. So you're gonna
now I'm gonna show what a Christian is. Do you condemn him for calling me a terrorist?
Listen, I've already showed you what a Muslim is.
Great.
You asked me.
Condemn him for calling me a terrorist.
So if you shout at me, I'm not going to respond to you.
We're gonna wait and see whether he can condemn me for calling me a terrorist. Please condemn him.
See him? He's got manners.
That's fine. That's fine.
He should teach you manners.
Manners is out the window when.
It doesn't look like it, bro. I think you're doing better than the teacher now.
Listen.
Because the way he's speaking
because
like
he's called me a terrorist.
Barking too much.
He's called me a terrorist. So I want you to condemn him. That's it.
We are not dogs. We should not bark. You're barking now.
I'm barking.
Yes.
Because I'm asking him. I'm asking you to condemn him for calling me a terrorist.
You know the metaphor behind it is because when you're barking, it's loud and you're so loud, so it's like you're a dog. You're barking.
Okay, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Speak, bro.
Okay, I'm gonna speak to you now.
Normally.
I'm gonna answer. Hold on. I'm gonna ask you this question, and if the answer is not definitive and you're beating around the bush, then what you're gonna be doing is slithering like a snake. You get the analogy. So hopefully you don't slither. Hopefully you don't slither.
How you did
so
when I asked you if
what I'm doing.
Israel.
I didn't.
Yes, you did sliver, man.
I didn't sliver. I answered the question. I answered the question clearly, and I tried to give context.
About Hamas, did you see how quick
I answered you to
like that?
Because
and
you know about what happened in October the 7th. So I'm going to ask you this again. Hold on. I'm going to ask you this again. So
for 15 years?
with what? No, again. So that was.
Do you know?
Yes, Hamas.
You do know.
No, Hamas has been in the Gaza Strip since then. We don't have as much information,
my friend,
except for what Hamas provides us. That's all we did. So now you're trying to beat around the bush with the question. Answer.
So I condemned Hamas, right? I did condemn Hamas.
So you're not answering whether you condemn him for calling me a terrorist. That's my question.
That's your question.
Yes, and then we're done.
Calling you a terrorist? I don't feel like you're a terrorist. No.
Condemn him then.
But.
So he came, right, tears in his eyes, and he said, "You're a Christian terrorist. You're a Christian terrorist." That's what he said to me. Now, I said, you should not call me a terrorist because I'm not that, right? Because we have a definition for terrorism, and obviously I'm not a terrorist. He then tried to use this as a conversation to get me to somehow say that what the IDF are doing is not lamentable. I then said that I lament what the IDF have done to the innocent Palestinians.
You condemn.
I already said I condemn. So
use the word condemn.
That's fine. So with that being said, when I now asked him, because I answered this question, can you condemn him for calling me a terrorist? He couldn't do it.
I think you're misinterpreting the two things.
What two things?
If he's calling you a terrorist, it's a different thing. I understand that.
Is he wrong for doing that?
But somebody that's a state that...
I'm asking you, is he wrong for doing that?
Why do you care about what people... She doesn't know who you are.
Because like you said, with morality. It's about morality. Because you can't condemn him for calling me a terrorist, and that's it.
Israel when there's news being blasted in your face.
I didn't struggle.
How dare you?
What I did is that I gave the context of the situation. What I asked you to do is specifically tell me that you have a speck of morality in you instead of bias.
I don't know who you are.
Okay.
I don't know who you are.
Is there any evidence I'm a terrorist?
My friend.
Is there any evidence that I am a terrorist?
In your face.
Okay, so I'm a terrorist.
5 minutes.
So you can't tell me. I'm going to answer this again.
But then
is there evidence that I am a terrorist? Is there evidence that I am a terrorist? Is there evidence that I am a terrorist?
I don't know.
Okay, you don't know that. You don't look into me. So when I said that I haven't looked into the Israeli-Palestine conflict to the level that I believe I should, and that's why I didn't want to talk about this, but I do lament the innocent.
You said, right?
Yes, because we are in the West in a very coddled place where we specifically, again, TikTok is not a reliable source of information, okay? So
you need information.
When like statistics and studies that can be verified, okay? I look to those when you analyze a conflict. And so, when I specifically as an individual, he's going to open up Snapchat and going into his camera roll, guys. So, when I'm asked, you're going on Snap Maps.
I'm not going on camera roll.
He's going to go to the location, he's going to go to a palace.
And tap location.
That's what you're going to
do. That's not
wait, should we do it?
Because that's okay. That's a non. Okay.
Should we do it?
The reason why I'm saying hold on.
So that means you're
the reason is because there is a non-verifiable way of collating information.
Come, let's do it together.
Okay, that's fine.
Because you lot's exposure is limited from what I can see.
No, the idea is what we're trying to do.
There's no internet there though. So how are you going to see stuff?
I don't know, bro.
How do they have Wi-Fi if the internet's cut?
I don't know.
I didn't know that.
I actually don't know.
No, they don't have no internet there.
No, but look, someone.
Yeah, but can you verify these accounts? Is what I'm saying. What I want to do is to be able to collect the proper information necessary.
Do you think that's a nice house?
I don't know who owns the house.
No, I'm just saying it's a nice house.
That looks like a tent,
Is this your camera?
No, that's not a camera.
That's not a camera.
That looks like a tent.
Camera this is.
So the name is the name is Aldo.
Show him this guy. You want to know what's going on in Gaza? Follow him.
So follow an account on Instagram.
I'm not following no accounts, man.
I don't want to. I'm not following Instagram accounts. I'm going to go to actual verifiable sources that relate statistics.
What's verifiable to you? BBC?
No.
Then what? LBC?
No.
Then what's
not news agencies.
Not news agencies.
Then what's your source?
So there are actual companies, not just companies, right, but specific organizations that are dedicated to counting statistics
This is now in
by Palestinian
We
companies.
can see this now.
So there is there's a Palestinian.
Would you not trust the people that are actually there recording it live, or would you trust them?
Calling it live
live on the ground over there?
Look at these kids.
Well, usually I would. So for example, right?
Good.
Yeah. So what you get for example, right, from Gazans that are filming, right, is that they're having not only a terrible time. Thank you so much. So from having a very terrible time in the Strip. Thank you. So I'm trying to focus on this conversation, right? So then you're going to get, for example, innocents that, like, in Israel that are also suffering by the conflict. If you, like,
the Holy
tap
Spirit is
Israel,
not
you will
allowing
see
it
the
to
pictures as well.
It's not suffering any conflict.
No. So, okay. Are there innocents in Israel that are suffering right now?
Who cares about Israel? You can't even condemn Palestine.
This is what I'm saying.
The Palestinians.
So
How dare you talk
the
further?
view is
Look, bro,
skewed.
your Holy
You're
Spirit's
only
not letting you
focusing
look.
on a specific
Look, man.
group of people.
Continue discussion. We'll have this discussion after.
So my point
man.
is my point is by only focusing
man.
on one
Does
group
your
of
Holy Spirit
people,
not let you look?
the view is skewed,
Why
as
you-
you can see.
look, brother,
He
look.
immediately went to Gaza, right,
brother,
which is
he's not-
fine. He didn't
He's
go
not
to
trying to
any
look. He
innocents
can't
in
look.
Israel, right? But even then, the camera views are only going to tell you about the personal experiences of those individuals. It's not going to tell you the wider geographical picture or the geopolitical conversation on the topic. That's what I want to do. I want to have a good
I
view.
get what you're saying, but then how
Yeah.
else are you going to get the wider geopolitical?
So there are Palestinian statistics sites that are run by Palestinian companies dedicated to looking at the sufferings in
Based
Gaza
in
and
where?
Israel. What?
Based on where?
Based in the West Bank.
Based in the West Bank. But okay, carry on.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Palestinian. They're based in the...
Carry on.
Why does it... Okay, if they were based in Israel, would it change whether
I
the
wish your
statistics were
family
true?
lived like this,
Thank
bro.
you. So, if they were...
Continue your
So,
conversation with him.
I just want
He
to...
doesn't
I want to
to.
ask you a question.
Because the Holy Spirit is
I've
stopping you from
already
looking at
answered this question,
understand?
but what he's trying
It's the
to
Holy
do...
Spirit.
Okay. You
Come on,
already
you're supposed to be a
agreed.
loving man.
You already agreed that there were
Jesus-
innocent.
when
I'm going to
Jesus
stick with the
told you
point.
that if
So
you get slapped,
there
you
are
have to turn
already
your cheek.
innocent
Look at you,
civilians
crazy
in Israel
Bro,
that are
don't you think
suffering
that looks
by the
nice?
conflict, right?
What about you, bro?
What are you trying to make? You're trying to say this
Where are you from, Nigeria?
What I'm trying to make is that the
Congo. Does
idea
Congo look
should
like
not
this?
be only in trying to look at the
I don't think it
geopolitical
does.
consequences
No, it's
of
Worse.
specific
It's worse than
organizations.
that. But I'm
You can
guessing you
condemn
are going
Hamas
to war.
and the IDF,
guessing-
right?
Civil-
What it's
we're
not going
going
to
through
do
rape,
is help the plight of
Gaza
the
has
innocent
nothing to
civilians
do
that
with
are
what's
not
happening in Congo.
governmental.
Yeah,
There are
but it's still-
innocents
it's
in
still not
Israel
that.
that are suffering by way of war profiteering, for example. So there are sites that you can help donate to those people. For example, the families that were affected on October 7th, just as an example, they are still suffering right now. There are organizations dedicated to helping those people. Same way in Palestine right now, in the Gaza Strip, there are organizations dedicated to helping innocent Palestinian Christians, which is of a first prioritizing for me because I, as a Christian, want to help innocent Palestinian Christians. Okay, that's not to say that I am not condemning the idea for what they did. Same way that, in a sense, I condemn Churchill for unfortunately carpet bombing Dresden. However, what Churchill did, because his intention was to absolutely alleviate Germany, right, specifically the Nazis, what he did was
take care
right,
of your own first.
i.e. what Churchill did for that effect is understandable.
Whoever is doing that,
If there was another way,
Churchill
Churchill should have used that other way. But historically, we do not have that. The same way that if we find out after this entire conflict that somehow Israel was right the entire time, I think both of you would say, if we know that Israel was right the entire time, you would stand with them.
Okay, I understand. In war,
Right? Yeah, exactly. Right. So if Israel are correct about eliminating Hamas, obviously you would support them because they were correct.
But wait, I don't want anyone to say whatever.
No. If they were correct about it, not if you agree.
Hamas is a resisting group.
It's a resistance group, and they
not
allowed
terrorists.
them to vote to go into power. And I think what 2000.
Okay, 2000. No, it was 2005.
Whatever the year was, but they
So
allowed
they
them to
left
go
the
into
strip
power.
in 2000. Okay, so let me ask you a question.
I'm not talking about them leaving the power. I'm saying Israel approved that Hamas to be the political party.
Okay, do you know how Hamas was voted in? Have you researched that?
How they were voted in?
Yes.
It was voted. It was voted by the Gazan people, and then approved by.
Did they have a choice for another party?
before.
That's what I'm saying. These are points that we need to understand to see.
Let's look at the big
I'm not
picture.
saying that. I'm saying that if they were forcibly taken, then the fact that they've been in the strip for 20 years with no governmental change is no surprise. The Palestinian innocents are not just being hegemonized by the idea of fighting Hamas, they're also being hegemonized by Hamas. What I'm saying is that the innocent suffering in Palestine is of first priority. That is what we care about. Okay? We are not concerned with the idea of as much as we are concerned with Hamas. So, with Palestine, specifically, the innocents in Palestine. If it comes to the fact that the innocents in Palestine are being hegemonized by the conflict, we must find a way to help those Palestinians, like I said.
Can I just say something before? You can be here sitting in London, having a nice life, and speak on the voice of Gaza.
That's why I said I don't want to have the conversation. Thank you.
Every single person in Gaza,
yes,
even he's suffering, he's supporting Hamas because the only way out to live.
Exactly.
Because
that's like, yes, exactly. But so that doesn't mean that what Hamas are doing are right.
It's not about Hamas.
Okay.
The people in the West Bank, there's no Hamas. There is fighting.
I never said that.
Yeah, and they're still suffering.
But what I'm saying, okay.
Still bombarded.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying.
Hamas.
Okay, so what I'm saying is,
what people don't want to try.
We were focusing on the Gaza Strip. We weren't focusing on the West Bank until she asked specifically, where was these companies that get the statistics based? That's what you asked, and that's what I answered. That's the only time I talked about the West Bank. I told each one of you, especially the camera and him, I don't want to talk about the conflict because we need to research the conflict in order to have a correct opinion. The most we can do is appeal to their plight and try and financially aid them.
You don't need to research this anyway. It's obvious. It's obvious. This is no oppressor and there is a victim. That's it.
What?
Does Israel deserve to be in a state?
What?
Does Israel deserve to be in a state? Yes or no?
Does Israel deserve to be in a state?
Yes or no?
If it's a good state, I guess. I don't think anyone deserves to be in a state. No, I don't think the UK deserves to be in a state either.
Is it okay for them to take a land that never belonged to them?
How do you know it didn't belong to them?
Look at your geography. You're a man of knowledge.
You can't have this kind of discussion.
I never said, okay, so
you can look. You say you're a man of. You say you're a man of knowledge.
I never said that.
No, but you say do studies, do research.
I study specific
before
things.
1974.
Yeah.
Before 1974, was there Israel? Or was there Palestine?
Well, there was
before
only
the Nakba that happened. Was there Israel? Or was it Palestine?
the state of Israel did not exist at the time. No,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean that there wasn't a Jewish.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that there wasn't a Jewish presence in Palestine.
About Jewish.
It would have been a Jewish president, but they were let in from the mass exodus.
Let in?
Yes.
They were
Let's
accepted.
Okay,
Accepted
so
after the Holocaust.
no. So from the time of the 1st century till now, there's always been a Jewish presence.
There's
always okay,
Right.
Jesus was Jew. We're not saying
Yeah.
We're not saying that there wasn't a Jew. We're saying does Israel, that it was never their land, what makes them
It was their land for a couple thousand years until they were displaced by the Romans, of which they still had Judea. And then after, another conflict happened, which is the Bar Kokhba revolt, right? The Bar Kokhba revolt forced them to all flee. There was still a Jewish presence there for that time. Now, within that time, there were also Arabs that were living in Palestine that came from the Arabian Peninsula into that specific peninsula as well. So it's just a mixture of a group of people. What I would like to see is somehow we can have these two groups working side by side as one. But of course, there are specific motivations that the Jewish people want to historically have the land that they own, they're ethnic to the region. And the Arabs that have lived there and adopted a culture into there also want a place to stay, which is fair on both sides. They should sit down and work together.
The Arabs lived there, just to correct a point because I zoned out. The Arabs lived there, okay, because the Jews weren't allowed to stay in Europe because of from the World War, okay, and then the mass exodus that happened from the Jews. They weren't accepted to stay in Europe. The UK had colonized Palestine.
Why were they in Europe?
The Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were in the Eastern European countries. So in the Eastern European.
No. Why were they there? How did they get there? Then are they indigenous to that region? No, they're not. They're indigenous to the Middle East. They're indigenous to the specific region we're talking about. So that means they left that place because they were being killed, went somewhere else, and then came back to the place that they used to stay. That's what's going on. The idea of the conflict is that there was a group of people that for 75 years dominated the region. Palestine. The term Palestine obviously comes from the term Palestina in Rome, the Roman Empire. That's literally the Latin word for Philistines, the historical group that used to persecute the Jews. The name is a mockery to the Jewish people.
Persecute Jews.
Yeah, the Philistines.
I don't know about that. Okay.
Just read, like, the point is historically Jews are indigenous to that region, but they had to leave. When they came back, okay, a large majority of them was able to come back.
By definition, then, if you're going to say the Native Americans came back to America, does that mean the Americans have to leave?
I don't think the Americans have to leave per se. And
By definition, it's the same thing.
I'm not saying the Palestinians have to leave Palestine.
but you're
like for example, right?
I'm just following your argument.
Yeah.
You're supporting, answering her point. You're supporting a state for Israel.
The same way I'm supporting a state for Palestine
And I
that's
hear
governed
you,
well.
I hear you, but I'm just going to attack with your argument, saying does that not then by definition mean that the Americans will have to leave if the natives got together and they wanted the land?
So no,
It applies
and
to
the
most
reason
countries, to be fair.
no, and the reason is because right, having a state for Palestine and Israel does not require that people need to be displaced. There is a way that you can governmentally institutionalize two states that
How
can work.
can you do that if one is majorly oppressed over the other?
If one is majorly oppressed
Yes.
over the other,
So you're saying what they should have both.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then if one is literally controlling the other in possibly any way,
So from what I know-
how's it going to be a fair argument?
so from what I know,
And sorry, so one more point as well.
Okay.
In the United Nations, where you've got America, who will veto, who have the power to veto anything that they don't like, and then it gets thrown out. So how would that happen? And then they support Israel, like
okay. So what you need to look at is you're saying that, for example, they're oppressing like the Palestinians. That's an argument that's made, and I understand the reasons why.
Yeah.
Because of, for example, the plight of the Palestinian Gazans, right? And it's usually focusing on the Strip rather than the suffering going on in the West Bank. They make a distinction between the two. Now the reason,
I think it's both. It's both. It's both.
there's a
West
distinction. So
Bank.
okay, the degree of suffering isn't going to be identical. That's why they focus on the Strip, because the Strip is the most densely populated place in the world.
yeah.
9 people per square meter. That means if I just got an AK and it was powerful enough and I shot one bullet, it could kill 2 people at the very least.
Okay.
So what it means is that the tally, for example, I try not to research this. And again, I'm only trying to, look into the statistics of it, because I don't want to like go on TikTok or Twitter and see like videos of people suffering, because there are community notes, for example, that have been passed on both sides that this is fake or this was AI. And I don't want to be privy to that.
Beheaded baby one.
But the beheaded baby one, the community note was actually taken down because it was false. So that was actually a real picture, and I wish it wasn't. There was a baby, for example, that was incinerated alive by Hamas. That was a real picture.
Wasn't it debunked by the IDF and said it was fake?
The beheaded baby. Oh, there are I think there was one, but there are multiple beheaded baby pictures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
Fair enough.
And there are some, for example, like a baby that was incinerated on October 7th that people tried to say that was generated by AI. Now, the community note that was taken that says that it was AI was taken down because the information in the community note was wrong. What I'm trying to tell you, right, is absolutely, I condemn specifically, and by condemn, I mean I believe what they did was wrong. Okay, so Israel are wrong the same for killing innocents, right? The same way that war in itself is wrong. The purpose of war is never to have any innocent die. That's why no war is ever a good thing. However, like for example, in Islamic
But this is
context,
not a normal war.
I don't know how you would judge a normal and a not normal war. All war is.
I'll tell you how it will be judged.
Okay.
Should I tell you how?
How would a normal? What's a normal war look like?
I'd say Ukraine and Russia.
Ukraine and Russia is a normal war.
Staying high level, sorry, but to cut you up. A normal war is 2 parties that have equal power, same levels of power.
Could you-
An army, both have an army of some capacity, both have weapons of some capacity, fighting each other. What we've got now is we've got Israel,
Oppressor.
Hang on. I'm going to keep it high level. We've got Israel, who was the 3rd best defense in the world as a country or something like that.
That's the best. They have the 3rd best air force in the world.
Yeah, something like that. But then they're backed by America, who has the best. Okay, so whatever they want, they'll shout America and they'll send it over to them.
Yeah.
But then you've got Palestine, who don't have an army,
Yeah.
who don't have an air force, who
Yeah.
don't have a navy, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. So going back to his point,
Yeah.
there's war, but then this isn't really. This war is 2 equal parties. You know what I'm trying to say?
So I get what you're trying to say, and I was trying to give you an
But
example,
he knows that as well. Because like you said, remember you said if Israel wanted to, they could just carpet bomb the whole of Gaza.
which I don't think is right. Now, this is the idea. So
but this is where you understand that. It's
so
not
that means that they need to try to find a way to alleviate as much. So, do you know what a carpet bomb is? That means that they can release like explosives that would nuke the entire region. They can't do that.
No, it's not a nuke.
I'm saying no.
Is it nuclear power?
That by nuke I just mean that the entire region would be
Flatten
dead. Yeah.
Yeah, Gaza has been flattened.
So what are they doing?
Okay,
in the
so
They haven't-
when I
you
say
think the north of
okay,
Gaza
so
isn't
I
flat?
just want to make sure that you clarify the idea. Okay, so and I understand this is a very emotional topic for both sides. Okay, so when you say, because again, the only reason I did not talk with you is because you couldn't condemn that other guy for calling me a terrorist, and he was your friend speaking with you, right? So you can't condemn your friend for saying that. That's why I didn't speak with you, right? Because he called me a terrorist, and he's your friend,
Yeah.
and you should call him you should condemn him for saying
You
that.
should condemn Israel.
I already did.
Yes.
3 times.
Okay.
Okay, so now,
Now-
please.
No. Because
So
the way
now,
you're talking, my friend,
could
I'll be
you
honest, you see this
please-
brother here, I can see he has patience with you.
Okay,
But, and I'll let you guys...
And I'm being patient with him because he hasn't called me a terrorist.
Yes, cool. I haven't called you a terrorist either.
Yes,
But-
no, your friend did.
Yeah,
Do
but
you
I'm not
endorse what your
accountable.
friend did?
I'm not accountable.
Like, I'll show you an example. So there was a man over there that called me a terrorist.
Yeah, as well.
Do you condemn him for calling me a terrorist?
I don't know any of you for me to condemn.
Yeah, what
Okay,
are you
I haven't done
asking,
any actions that are pertaining to terrorism. Am I a
bro? Do
terrorist?
you condemn him for calling me a terrorist?
I never called him a
Do you
terrorist.
condemn him?
What's my condemnation mean to you?
Yeah, what's going
It
on?
means
bro?
it means that I can be certain that you don't view me that way.
I get what you're saying, but I
That's
don't
why
have
I
to
said-
debate you now. I don't know. I can't condemn. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you?
Was he correct in calling me a terrorist?
But how is he supposed to know?
I don't know you.
Does he know if after
Okay.
this you're gonna go and bomb Parliament?
Like, for example,
What are you
if
talking
I don't have a bomb back, come on. So if I say,
you
for
want to
example,
bomb Parliament.
like for example, if I say right that this person is like a, I say like you're having a conversation
bro,
with
just
someone,
leave this conversation,
and a person,
because
no,
honestly, it's
because it's very important.
It's very
You're trying to make a point that it has a very big point
It is, bro.
because
Taking
he
it away-
personally insulted
I get
me.
you, but I don't know him, and I don't
Yeah,
know
doesn't
you.
matter. So-
do you know what it looks
but
like?
guess what?
Do you know what it looks
He
like, bro?
does.
You're like, bro,
He
look,
does.
he called me a terrorist, bro. Look, tell him I'm not a terrorist, bro. What are you doing,
Yeah.
bro?
So okay. So that's
you a
what
kid?
that's exactly what you're doing to me. You told me to call
No,
the idea of a
this is how you're
terrorist.
behaving.
He said,
My bro, I'm
call
telling
the
you-
idea of terrorist. That's what you said.
My bro, I'm telling you.
He said condemn the idea. You're doing the same
Everybody
thing.
in the park, bro, he could be a terrorist.
No,
Do you
I'm
condemn
going
him?
to
Do
you because
condemn
you
him?
know
What are
him
you
as your
doing?
friend. That's what I'm doing.
What
So
are you doing?
what I'm
What
doing
are you
is I'm
trying to get
going
out
to
of
you
it?
as a friend and seeing whether you have an
Bro,
intermorality
leave this
within you.
terrorist thing, bro.
And I'm not going to leave the terrorist thing unless
Okay,
you
go
can
around
condemn
that
it.
to every single person here and say,
I'm going to
"Do
go
you
to his
condemn him
friends.
for calling me a terrorist?"
I'm going to go to his friends. So
Go,
you.
go.
Where's his friends?
Go look for them, bro.
I don't need to look for them. I have
Why
one right
not?
here.
Why not? I already
Because
gave you my answer.
you're his friend.
I
You
already
didn't give me
my
an. You didn't give me an answer.
I did.
What was your answer?
Time, really.
Come on, man.
Have a good day. What was your answer?
Take care, my bro.
So what was your answer?
Yeah, then nice conversation going, bro. You're still butthurt.
You
about that, bro.
came
Do you
into
know
the
how you sound, bro?
conversation.